Okay, in this lecture, we're going to go over how to navigate the final project portion of the course. Go ahead and open up our QBA class, and you're going to get to the main menu and click on Final Project. And it'll bring you to the Final Project page with 4 tabs, and the 4 tabs are the project overview and videos, hypothesis testing, write-up information, data sets, and a place for you to submit your final project. And if you navigate through this, you're going to see on the very first page the project overview and videos, and we'll just walk through this step by step. What you're going to be submitting by the conclusion of this is one Excel workbook with 4 worksheets, and you can work with up to 2 individuals to complete this. And this workbook, what this is going to look like is, I'm going to open up the blank project example file. You're going to get a workbook that looks something like this, and on the bottom you're going to see single sample, independent sample, paired, chi-squared goodness of fit, and chi-squared test for independence. You have the option to do either one of these two. I'm okay with you doing either one, but you have to do single sample, independent, and paired. And then when you save it, just make sure that you say file, save as, and you put your name right here. Sean Eide final project blank example file, or final project Kickstarter, or whatever it is that you're dealing with. Okay, but if multiple of you are working on the same file, put Sean Eide, Jane Doe, and John Adams. I'll put all 3 of your names right there and put final project, Kickstarter, whatever it is. Okay? Kickstarter. And then save it so that way all 3 of you submit to me the exact same file. Okay? So that's what it's going to look like. Now, for your files that you are working in, you have, hopefully I'll have all of your data sets with data in them. So some of you don't have them up yet, and I'm still working on some, but it does take quite a bit of time to be able to put all of this together to make it work seamlessly for you. So what you're going to have is you're going to have 5 tabs on the bottom, and you're going to have the data set up perfectly for you to work through a single sample test, an independent sample test, a paired sample test, a chi-squared goodness of fit test, and a chi-squared test for independence. And then also there's a yellow box that basically goes over what each test or what each set of data is doing. So I'd encourage you, download the data set that you want to work with, or the workbook that you want to work with, look through the data, and when you look through the data, make sure that you look at the yellow box and understand what you're dealing with before you go through the entire hypothesis test. I've really done my very best to make it as easy as possible for you to navigate this, but it is still going to require work and understanding on your part. Next, each one of these videos, so you're going to submit that before the end of the semester. Each one of these videos will walk you through the hypothesis test, that very particular hypothesis test, step by step. So this right here is the single sample final project example. So if you click on this, you can press play, and it'll bring you through the hypothesis, the single sample hypothesis test, step by step from beginning to end, and it'll explain every single last step. Now, the single sample one does look slightly different than what you're dealing with, because I've made some modifications to it to make it a little bit easier to understand what it is that you're looking at. But each one of these videos is about an hour long, and the way that I would encourage you to do this video, you can work through it with the video and actually do the assignment, do the hypothesis test while watching the video, but it's not required that you do that. I'm not asking you to turn it in or anything like that. What I would encourage you to do, if you feel comfortable, is put the the hypothesis testing video on one side of your screen and put your data set on the other side of the screen, or your workbook on the other side of the screen. Or if you have two different computers or an iPad or something to that effect, where you can watch the video on one and work on your project on the other. You can literally work on your project step by step as I go through the steps with this single sample project example, or each one of these hypothesis test examples. So you can work on your project while watching how I do mine, and that's how I've kind of designed them to be done. Yes, I am aware that each one of these is about an hour long. I don't like them to be an hour long, but at the same time, we're not just covering content. We are literally walking through every single last step that you have to complete for each part of this project. And so there's about 5 hours worth of videos for this. And these 5 hours worth of videos, if you watch them while completing your final project, by the time that you're done watching these videos, you will have completed the final project. So the data set for the videos is right here. This is the one where everything is completed, and I'm perfectly fine with you downloading this. And if you want to copy my content and my explanations and paste them into your worksheet and just modify them, I'm okay with that. Just make sure that it is modified and completely updated to reflect your results and your data. And if you want to work through it, starting with a blank workbook, that's right here. Next, your data sets. I've been working on trying to get all of the data sets up for you guys, but not all of them are up yet. I'm still working on a few more, specifically Spotify, and a few more that you guys are working on. So you can feel free to use one of these if you want to, or when I get yours up, just let me know if you're wanting something in particular. I'm trying to get those up, but I've got to make sure that everything works perfectly before I submit it, before I put it up here, because the last thing that I want is to put something up here that's not working well. On that note, you guys are going to experience abnormalities in your data. You're going to experience problems. And it's really good to watch this video right here. It says, please watch this video in dealing with violations of assumptions. You're going to be dealing with bad data. Also, we haven't covered effect sizes, obviously, because we haven't been able to see each other face to face in a while, but watch the video on effect sizes. And so this will show you how to do effect sizes with each of your, or just a general overview of effect sizes with the project. And then your data sets, and then finally submit your final project. Like I said, if you work with other individuals, all three of you have to submit the final project. All three of you have to submit the final project, and you click on this, and you're going to be able to upload your file, your workbook, your Excel workbook. That's what I want, is an Excel workbook. I do not want Google Sheets. I need an Excel workbook. So you'll be able to upload that, and it's worth 160 points, and I will be checking for accuracy in your answers. So please don't just put that you have all this content and assume that I'm not checking your numbers. I have all of the correct answers, and I will be checking the numbers. And if you put a different alpha or whatnot, I have all of the modifications. It's really easy for me to look at all the different things that you do in your data and the interactions between all of it to see how you've come to the result that you have come to. And hypothesis testing is one of those things that it is a science, but it is also subject to interpretation. So while you watch these videos, you may see something slightly different than the way that I see it. And if you see something slightly different and you document what it is that you've done, as long as you document it thoroughly, I'm going to be able to see it and be able to give you credit for it. And so, let's see, 160 points. So each one of those sheets that you're completing is worth right around 40 points. Each one of those sheets is worth about 40 points, so it's really important that you do well on each one of those sheets and make sure that you have all that information complete as much as you can. Other than that, if you have questions, feel free to send them in the group me. I know I haven't been as responsive as what I've wanted to be. I am working as hard as I can to be able to get all this done, but this is definitely a lot more than what I ever expected, putting this together. And I really hope that you guys are doing well. I know it's been really hard for me. I can only imagine what it's like for you guys completing all of your courses online. I'm praying for you guys, praying for the best for you. I hope that the rest of this course is a good experience for you as well. Thanks so much.